Welcome to the roller coaster ride of business with Hannah Edwards on Global Voice Radio. Hannah and her guests share the real deal, the ups and downs, the highs and lows of building a business. Here is your host, Hannah Edwards.
Hey guys, welcome to the roller coaster ride of business. If you don't know, if you haven't listened to the show before, I am your host, Hannah Edwards, and as well as the host of this show, I run Empowered Virtual Assistant and Empowered Business Magazine. And on this show, we talk everything business and about how much of a roller coaster journey it is. Today is the first in our little mini series about self-sabotage, which we spoke about last week. And I am joined by the awesome Sarah Ankney, who is a regular guest on the show now. So thank you for joining me, Sarah.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
So Sarah is a good friend of mine. We met in a business group. Like, I can't even remember what the group is called. But Sarah is, as we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, my accountability partner, which tells me off when I've not got my to-do list done. But I do the same to her. I tell her off when she's not done hers either, so it's okay.
Yes.
And you're also an awesome coach and a direct sales hostess for Posh, I'm thinking.
Yes, perfectly posh.
So I knew there was a Posh in there somewhere.
Yeah, I usually just say posh, but I guess I should get used to saying perfectly posh because that's the actual name of the company.
But it's a bit of a mouthful though, perfectly posh.
Yes. The only thing that's nice about it is the branding colors match my business branding colors.
Is that why you chose it?
No, I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I have shelves full of stuff. I showed you that I have shelves full of stuff.
She does. She's not lying. She literally sent me a picture on Facebook about not even half an hour ago. So this week, as I said, is the first in our mini-series about self-sabotage. I spoke about it last week and I was kind of inspired by the conversation that we had before, where we'd both got to a stage in our business where we were like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I've completely lost my flow. I've lost what I'm doing. And I don't know how to pick myself back up. Yeah. My way of dealing with that was to throw myself into reading, which is great because I've managed to finish one book that's taken me months to read, when normally it would have taken me like a couple of weeks. And for you, it was to go straight back to the basics.
Yes, I tend to go back to the basics when I'm lost or if I've had massive catastrophe happen.
So tell us about your self-sabotage experience. What was it like?
Well, it's actually happened multiple times over my business. So that's part of the roller coaster. You go through and everything's going good, and then you see the momentum's going good and you hit a fear that you maybe knew was there or didn't know was there. So I think the beginning of the summer, I hit the fear of, okay, I've got 2 clients. Can I handle more clients? And I hit the fear of, what if nobody's listening?
Yeah.
You know, because I do a lot of trainings in my group and stuff. I'm like, what if nobody's listening? Because nobody's commenting. But that doesn't mean nobody's not listening. It just means that they don't have anything to say or they're busy and they get to it later.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm one of those people, I thrive on feedback. So when I don't get the feedback, I start unraveling.
It sends you into a panic, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I also did a radio show, but mine was just a music radio show. And if nobody was listening or commenting because we had a chat paying for it, I I stopped talking. I just literally started playing music. Because I just was like, there's nobody to talk to. Nobody's saying anything back. I can't.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Just because somebody's not saying anything, because, I admit it, I've, lurked around groups, checking it out before I say stop. So a lot of times we feel like nobody's listening, nobody's hearing, we're not getting anywhere. And we actually are. We just don't see it by our own standards.
This is it. See, my thing, it's the self-doubt. When it starts creeping in, I start doubting myself on stuff. And I find that if I'm in a group where there's a lot of people, because there are people there whose voices are a little bit more known because they've been in the group for longer, so they've made themselves known and stuff like that. I find if I comment on a post, my comment gets like washed up in all of the other posts and stuff like that. And I just sit there and I'm like, wow, if no one's gonna see what I'm saying or respond to what I'm saying, they've asked for an opinion and they've given mine, everyone else has got a comment except mine, because mine's just been like, wow, I know this person, and I don't know her. So I get there and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not the business person I thought I was because no one's listening to what I'm saying.
That's not the case. And here's why. If you post a comment, okay, on somebody else's post. So say I personally posted, hey, how are you guys today? And you came in and you put under the post, you know, I'm having a really shitty day or whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It could be I'm having a great day, whatever. If I don't even hit like as the person that posted this, there's a problem. It's about them. You can't control their behavior. And I think sometimes we end up self-sabotaging ourselves when we think we can.
Exactly.
The only behavior you can control is your own.
Very true. And one of the things that I said last week was the fact that you will get people that tell you that they've never ever in their entire life, it doesn't have to be business, like I said last week, you can experience it in your personal life as well. But if they turn around and say to you that they have never ever in their entire life, business or personal, experienced self-sabotage, they're lying.
Oh, no, I can give you examples of people that think they got it all together and don't.
With those phrases of, I can't and I won't and I shouldn't, like, they're all self-sabotage comments. So as soon as you start saying, I can't do that, or I won't be able to do that, you're already setting yourself in that frame of mind.
Yes. I always suggest, like, because I can't, I won't, I shouldn't. One, don't shoulda yourself to death because there's a lot of shoulds, but what you do for your business isn't necessarily what somebody else needs to do for theirs.
Exactly.
But I started, you know, at least putting a but at the end. So, like, somebody posted in one group, you know, I don't remember what it was, but I said, I'm getting better. I'm not so great at this, but I have come further. So I acknowledge that I'm not where I was. I haven't hit where I want to be, but I've at least acknowledged I'm not where I was.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're just making excuses.
Rude.
And so if you put a but in there, there's a difference between a but to make an excuse and a but to acknowledge.
Exactly. I mean, if I get asked as a VA, do I know how to do something? I'll go, well, I don't. However, I will go and research and learn that thing right now if that is what you need me to do.
And it is all about wording.
Yeah.
But I want people also to know that if you're having a down moment where you're feeling awful about something, let yourself have those feelings, because shoving them just makes the self-sabotage end up worse.
It does. And like, I mean, I always say when you get those doubting feelings, it's okay. If you feel like you can't business one day, it's okay. Take that day off. If you wake up, and I mean, I know a lot of people rely on their businesses for their money, paying their bills and stuff like that. But everybody needs a day off. Even in our 9 to 5, you get days off.
Right.
And I think people need to take a step back on those days. Take that as a day off, read, write, do whatever it is that you like to do when you're off. For you, it's probably go and smell all your nice things that you've got on your shelf.
Watching TV, I admit it.
See, I do the same. I stick a program on my tab and I will sit there for hours and watch it.
I had gotten so bad at the self-sabotage, just gotta say. My friend goes, I don't want you to do anything in your business for 1 week. Yes. Now, she's a good friend. She's a good guide. And I didn't. If you notice, I didn't. I had stuff already planned out.
Yeah.
It was already scheduled to go. But after that, I didn't do it.
See,
It was so hard for me not to post. My instinct was, I'm sabotaging myself. No, I'm showing people that it's okay to take a break.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't be able to do that because it's like there's someone that on their emails has their out of office set up saying that they only check their emails once a week. So if it's an emergency, they can get hold of them on their telephone number.
Right.
And I sit there and I'm like, that's great for certain businesses. However, as a VA, I have clients that email me for stuff that they'll email me on the Monday and they need it done by the Wednesday. Well, if the day that I check my emails is the Thursday or the Friday, or I've checked them on the Monday and then the client emails after I check them, that's a whole week, and then I find I haven't done that work. So that's not going to work for me. I mean, I have cut down to checking my emails to once a day.
It's also bad customer service. If you have an issue, like for example, my Posh products, if somebody has an issue and I don't check my emails right away, that is lost revenue down the street.
Yeah. I mean, for her, it obviously works because her business is booming. Because for her, like, customers are thinking, okay, well, if she's only checking her emails once a week, that means that she's doing so well and she's great at what she does and we need her. I'm going to say
not necessarily true, but
by the way, so for her it does work because clients think, well, if there's an emergency we can get hold of her on the mobile phone, but she's obviously off doing some fantastic bouquets and stuff, and I've seen her work. It is really good and her business is booming because of this.
It does. I always say, because we've talked about time management and organization before, you have to run your biz your way. Exactly. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. Now, with all that stuff, I can help find a solution for you that works for you, but it's not for me to say you should be doing it this way. No. Yeah. Now, I can give you like basics, like because of Facebook algorithms, you should be doing this X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And normally when I would take a week off, I'd ask somebody to take over my group. I didn't even do that this time.
I did notice that you literally just put up your post saying you were going to be off for a week and we'd see you all in a week. Obviously, for me and you, that didn't matter because we were still chatting.
Right. Well, normally I would have somebody come in once a day or a couple times a week, and the people I normally would do it, one's having some personal issues, so I did not want to ask her because she had enough going on.
Yeah.
And the other person that I would normally ask, we drifted apart. She doesn't even check in the group anymore. Yeah. So I was like, and there's other people I could have probably asked, but I felt like I give so much value in that group that if I take a week off, it gives people a chance to catch up, truly. Because if there's like, 8 or 9 units in there?
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm going to start back, because I try to go gangbusters all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm revising when I come back that I'm not going gangbusters. You're going to get value in the week, but it's not going to be every day. It's not going to be where I'm killing myself trying to get it out.
Absolutely.
And that's what was going on. I was killing myself.
Yeah.
Because all I kept thinking is, I didn't post. I'm not being consistent enough.
You get that anxiety because you get told by so many people, and it all comes back to those posts on social media where you've got the couples or the woman or the guy that's made, as what they say, just made hundreds of thousands because they've used this posting sequence or this email sequence, and they're telling you that you need to send out 3 posts a day to get anything done, and if you don't do that, then you're not going to make the money. And what kind of person are you if you're not following their way of doing it?
Now, I do know that for the Facebook algorithm, you need to post in groups. It's supposed to be 5 to 8 times a day, but I reduced it and told my clients 3 to 5 times a day. The same with your biz page, but it doesn't have to be all biz. It could be just a random, today I posted, hey, how's everybody going?
Yeah.
It could be a funny picture. It doesn't have to be biz all the time.
Absolutely.
Because they want to see you. And it's sabotaging yourself. If you post everything all biz all the time, they think you're hustling 24/7. So when you take a day off, they don't forgive you.
Yeah, exactly. You get them to that point of, well, she's constantly on the ball, so I can message her anytime if I need any kind of customer service. And obviously that's not true.
So part of, my deal with self-sabotaging was I had to learn to put limits. Like, I normally would answer my messages all the way through like 1 a.m., regardless if I was sleeping or whatever. My cutoff time is between 8 and 10, depending on the night. If I'm spending time with my kids, my phone's now on silent, or I shut off Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
Because that's movie time with my kids. I don't need to be answering stuff.
No.
And I let people know, if you want to message me, if it is a client, I respond in 24 hours. If it's a non-client, it's 48.
Yeah.
Because, of course, clients get,
Absolutely.
But the whole thing is a lot of times we're more self-sabotaging. We have no clue. We have no clue we're doing it.
Which is what makes me laugh when people say they've never experienced it, because they don't know half the time if they've experienced it or not. There's all those times where you don't set those boundaries. And I was guilty of this when I first started out in business. I was so desperate to get those first clients and stuff that I wasn't setting boundaries on when I was available to be contacted. And I would be asleep and I would wake up and have like millions of messages from these people that they were all over the world. They were all inquiring about stuff. But because I hadn't responded straight away like they'd been told I do, because apparently I don't sleep, they were literally like, well, you obviously don't want the work. And one of the messages I got was, you're supposed to respond to people when they're messaging you, so you clearly don't want the work or think you're too good to work with me. And I was like, well, my apologies, but I'm in the UK and I was actually asleep. So how am I supposed to respond to you when I'm not even awake?
Okay, I hate to say it, since we've gone through this digital thing, like, we are attached to our phones. Everything has to be instant replies.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but the thumbs up thing bothers me. I don't know what the deal is. Like, if I'm in a messenger and somebody gives me a thumbs up, I just get really cheeky. And here's why. If I message you, unless it's an emergency, and most of the people that I have emergencies with, I have other ways of contacting.
Yeah.
But unless it's an emergency, if you're driving, you're out with your kids, whatever, I don't expect you to answer me. I remember the days when you didn't have cell phones, you had an answering machine, you waited for people to respond.
And now we're at the point where everyone wants a response straight away.
And I don't think that should be an expectation from anybody.
No. Okay, so for me, the thumbs up thing is either I've caught the button accidentally because I'm on a touchscreen phone, and that happens a lot, and it happens with all my friends as well. Or I've seen your message, and it's for me, I've seen it and I will get back to you. Because half the time I'm literally just getting off the bus to go into my job.
Okay, but FYI for Facebook, it lets you know when people have seen it.
Yeah, I know, but people get stuck and think it's rude.
But I guess the thing is like, this girl, every time she was driving, she'd give me a thumbs up. I'm like, why'd you even look at it while you were driving?
Yeah, see, for that, it's just wrong.
Or if I ask a question and somebody puts a thumbs up, that bothers me. I'm like, dude, you need a response, and I'd rather you just wait to do it. Yeah. So, like, there's times I've messaged you, and you haven't responded right away. I don't throw a fit. The only time I've ever thrown an actual fit is with my ex-husband, because he does not answer. It's my passion at all. And, like, especially if it's about a kid and it's an emergency, I need you to answer me.
Yeah.
Now, I've called my aunt. We've gone a week without going in between talking because we're both so busy, because I have a different schedule than she does. So we have to give people a break, because, A, people need self-care. People need mental health breaks.
Yes,
Sorry. Mental health is important, or you're not going to be functioning in your business. And you have to set, even with your clients, even for yourself, you have to set boundaries. And I was bad at that this summer. That's what caused all this self-sabotage. I mean, I'm watching movies with my kids. It's my birthday, and this client would not leave me be. I picked up all the time. And that was my fault for picking up all the time. But then it became such an expectation that I'd literally get a stomach ache when they would message or call.
And that's because of the lack of boundaries. So that was your big, massive self-sabotage right there.
Yes. And it was more because I just wanted to make the client happy. It wasn't like I was thinking I was sabotaging myself, but I was. So my advice is if you have a business page for your business, set hours, set off hours. So when it's closed, if somebody knows you and they go to check out your hours, it's closed. That's not an hour that you have to answer.
See, that all depends on the situation, because for me, I can't set office hours because my rota is so varied that I could say that I'm open 9 to 5 on a Wednesday, but actually on that day I'm working from 7 till 3 in my job. Right.
There's a difference between that, but like for me, this is what I do. Yes, I take classes. Yes, I have 2 businesses, but there has to be a point where you're done for the night.
Yes.
I recommended to all my clients when I was doing the time management to shut off your Facebook Messenger when you're done.
Yeah.
Shut it off. I'd stopped doing that. So now I'm doing that. I log out. I don't, or there's a snooze button. You can snooze it for so long. So what I do is I snooze it until my alarm goes off the next day, and then I'm good. Now there's occasionally I'll take a look, like, I'm bored. Like bored during the middle of a show. I get bored sometimes when they're in that like weird lull in a show.
Yeah.
So I'll just be like Facebook surfing is what I call it, and end up with a message and I'll answer. But literally you have to set those boundaries, whether it's with your email, whether it's with your group, whether it's with a friend. I know friends that they're like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm drunk and I need somebody to talk to. Okay, unless you're dying, I don't want to hear from you. Well, I mean, there's certain other situations, but like you understand what I'm saying. Unless it's an actual emergency and you're not just upset because you want to drunk dial your boyfriend. Okay, so as I was saying, I mean, if it's your ex-boyfriend and you're just wanting to drunk dial him, that's not my problem. Shut your phone off if you're that drunk.
Yeah.
Because you obviously should not be drunk dialing.
And especially that person, they're your ex for a reason.
Yes. Or better yet, I have to give this example. This is a perfect example of self-sabotage. And this happened to me on my birthday this year. The person that messaged me knew that I was going over to my soon-to-be mother-in-law's house for my birthday. And it happens to be my oldest's birthday, too. So it's a dual party. We're watching a movie. She messages me and I'm like, I can't talk right now. I'm, doing birthday stuff. I will get back with you later.
Yeah.
Would not leave it go. She blew up my phone.
That's terrible.
So, of course, I'm trying to calm the situation before she started calling. So guess who's pissed off at me, my family?
Which is understandable because you've gone over there for family time. And that person, and obviously I know who you're talking about, she should have respected the fact that it was your birthday and it was family time, because if you had done the same thing to her,
I don't have time for this shit.
Off of her head. Yeah. So completely gone off of her head at you.
Right. So what I should have done is stated that it's my birthday, I'm at a party, I'll get back with you later, and shut off my messenger.
Yeah, see, obviously,
but hindsight,
it wasn't your fault. Obviously, it wasn't your fault that it was blowing up your phone and you were getting all these messages. But like you said, in hindsight, you should have switched that phone off.
Right. So
but you're also like me in a way. Like I sit there and I think, if I don't, because I switch my internet off when I'm at work. So then when I switch it on, my phone is like pinging like mad of all these notifications. Now, the majority of the time, it's nothing. But when I then check my business emails and I'm like, okay, my evening has just completely changed. Like, I'm going to get home from work, finish work at 3, so I'm going to get home. It's going to be about 4. And then I'm going to have to spend a couple of hours catching up with everything that's just come through on email.
Yes. Now, here's another tip to help you with your self-sabotage when it comes to Facebook. Unless you're mentioned in the post, or it's somebody that you really, really follow, shut the notifications off for that person.
Yes.
On my phone, you can't hear notifications go off for Facebook. The only thing you can hear is the messenger notifications.
Yeah, see, I have a couple of groups which I allow the post to come through. And the rest of them, because the for sale groups that you get on there are constant. So they are all completely turned off so that I go in and I look. but I've joined a couple of other groups lately, and I need to go through. There's a couple I can't because I've joined them because I'm the owner's VA. So obviously those ones I can't show up. But the owner knows that I have my job. So if I'm not responding, it's because I'm at work, or because of the time difference, it's because I'm asleep.
Right.
So a lot of the time, like, I will go and I will join a group and I'll feel it out first. So if I like the group, I'll keep the notifications on. If I'm not quite sure on the group, or if I think, okay, I like the group, but I'm only going to want to check in, those notifications get switched off.
Right. There's things you can do to help yourself. Now, I created a self-sabotage workbook.
I was just about to ask you about it because it's up on my screen.
Yes. I actually did a challenge about this time last year, to be honest, on it in my group. Well, it hit off with such a splendor. I created the workbook from this sabotage challenge, but it's basically, why are you self-sabotaging yourself? You're exploring the options on it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now while we're talking.
It's more on, you don't necessarily realize you're doing it, but when you do realize, you need to work through whatever the issue is. So for me, it was, it started off that I wanted to make extra money this summer. So I started basically VAing for somebody. Now, I could probably be a great VA, but that's not my passion. But I was doing it as more as a friendly favor.
Yeah.
And I expected to get paid for it. Well, that wasn't happening. And instead of me saying, okay, and getting it in writing, because she was a friend. So if it's a friend, still get it in writing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is.
I sabotaged myself because I let it go on too long. Like, she was supposed to do X, Y, Z, didn't happen. She just didn't pay me, didn't do X, Y, Z, And then when it came down to it, and I was like, look, I've done all this stuff for you. I've not spent time with my family this summer. I need paid for this. Oh, that's your fault. You're the dumbass that didn't spend time with your family. But she was right.
But she still should have paid you.
Right.
So your workbook, you've got, I'm just looking at it right now. So we've got day 1, which is procrastination. Day 2,
where you're
fear.
Sabotaging. Yes, fear.
Day 3 is you sabotage yourself by letting your inner mean critic get the best of you. I love that phrase because it's true. People do sabotage themselves because of the self-doubt, the constant voices in their mind. And obviously, I mean, it's a 3-day challenge, and you encourage things like journaling and getting deep into why people fear something, why they're procrastinating over stuff. I like it. It's not one of those workbooks that you look at it and you think, oh my God, that's a 40-page long workbook.
I've created one workbook that was like 30 pages, but it was because there's multiple steps in what I was going over. Yeah. But you can always find my workbooks and anything I've done at SarahAnkneyEmpowerment.com. But some of them need revised because I've changed branding I don't know how many times. But the other thing is sometimes we self-sabotage ourselves because we listen to what other people want, not what we want. Yeah. For example, my fairy. I was told that it was too childish and I needed to get rid of it. That it was not my branding. And I changed what the fairy I used because they were like, oh, that looks too realistic. It creeps me out. Okay. But I kept the fairy. And you know why I kept the fairy? 1, fairies are awesome. 2, that's one of my favorite things. And 3, I like a little whimsical, magical thing to do with my business. Yeah. That's who I am. It's part of who I am. So to me, a fairy is like a guide that helps you through things.
And when you look into mythology, most fairies, look at the blue fairy in Cinderella and Pinocchio.
Yeah. So to me, it wasn't. Now, if you don't like whimsical stuff, then I'm not for you. But I shouldn't hide who I am because somebody else says that that's not right.
Definitely not. And that's one of the things that I find a lot of people do. So it's okay to ask people for advice. They might get a bit annoyed if you go, okay, well, I get what you're saying, but I'm not going to go with that. For some people are like, well, if you're not going to use my advice, why ask for it? But sometimes people are looking for an answer that I think they ask the wrong people for. So whilst it's okay to like ask advice, if you're not asking the correct questions, you're not going to get the answer that you want.
The other thing is you have to watch who you're asking.
Yes.
I always tell all my clients, you have a support system. Have 5 people on that list. But make sure, because this is part of my self-sabotage, is I didn't ask some of these people. Like, my coach should have been one. It shouldn't have been an option.
Yeah.
But clearly it was an option for that person. A good friend, same thing. There was like 3 of them all at once that were on my list that no longer on my list. So I changed what I'm doing, and I just asked. I'm like, hey, when I need support or advice, could you please help me? And if I don't take it, not punish me about it.
But this is it. I mean, I can ask you for advice sometimes, and then I'll sit there and I'll think, okay, well, some of what you've said, yeah, I get, but there are other bits that I think maybe need to wait until I'm a bit further in, or I should have asked sooner, because yes, while they're relevant to my business, they're not relevant to the right now. And you'll find that some people, when you ask them for advice, and this isn't you that I'm talking about, but some people, when you ask them for advice, they will start talking about what, like, their answer to what you've asked, but then they go off on this massive long thing, and you're like, okay, well, now you're just trying to tell me how to run my business like 10 years into the future, because I didn't ask for advice for that long, and I don't have a notebook, so I can't write all these tips down or anything like that. But you're telling me stuff for when I'm looking at 10 years in the future, and I'm asking for the right now.
Yes. I think sometimes we also have, and I know I've had friends like this where when I was in an abusive relationship, they're like, just leave. It's not always as simple as people think.
It's not.
So they dropped me as friends.
Because you didn't take their advice to just leave.
It wasn't that I wasn't taking their advice. There's other steps that had to happen before I could leave.
We had children involved in this situation as well.
Children, no place to go to live, no car to just even drive off. So just another piece of advice for people is, if you do give somebody advice and they don't take it right away, put yourself in their shoes. There might be other steps they need to take before they can do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to build their confidence up so they can do it.
Absolutely. I mean, half the time, especially when you're new in business as well, like half the time people, it takes them forever to just ask for the advice, because they're so nervous of coming across like they don't know what they're doing.
Well, the other thing is you're afraid of being judged.
Yeah.
You know, I have to say I have that issue, and that's part of, just my headspace thing, I call it. But it is not awful to ask for advice.
No, it's not.
It just depends on who you're asking. So you need to be careful. It's just like friends. It's just like, your jobs. You need to be picky and choosy. Because not everybody's the right fit. Like I tell my clients right up front, I'm going to be honest. If you don't agree with something I say, that's okay. Just say so.
Yeah.
You have a problem with me, that's okay. Just say so, and we'll work it out. If it can't be worked out, we'll make steps to either sever the relationship or remedy the situation, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I can't do anything about what I'm doing
if I don't
unless
know.
you choose me.
Yeah.
I can't control what you, just like if I'm asking you to go post in your group 3 times a day and you're not doing it and you're not getting results, that's not my fault.
Exactly. Don't come back at me and say, well, what you're telling me isn't working if you're not going to do some of it.
So you have to look, there's different sides of everything, and you have to take own responsibility what's your shit.
You have to read between the lines as well.
Yeah. Own what's your shit, but also don't take responsibility for somebody else's shit. It's not your problem. So, my self-sabotage, it's gotten a lot better. It used to be daily basis self-sabotage.
Yeah.
But in this summer, it hit me really hard. It took me 2 months to like really recover.
Which I noticed.
But a lot of that was because it was more than just the business side. It was the friendship side.
Yeah.
So I have one more piece of advice for people when it comes to business. Don't mix friends and business. Like, for example, because Hannah and I became friends, I would not take her on as a coaching client.
Exactly.
Because it would interfere with A, our friendship, or B, our business relationship.
It would make things very difficult for us. I mean, yeah. I know I can come to you and ask for advice, but when it comes to an actual coach, I'm happy to recommend you to everyone else, as you found the other day. But for myself, if we weren't friends, then yes, I would work with you. However, being friends, because I don't like, it's like mixing that business with pleasure type thing. Right. I don't like doing it. The problem is I've made a lot of friends through the businesses that I have.
Right.
So it's setting those boundaries. So for me and you, it's not working together as like coach and client.
It's working together as partners and stuff, like networking group, accountability. Now, but at first, originally, we discussed you wanted me to be your coach. But after that, we became friends.
Yeah.
So it just kind of just didn't work out. So
this is it.
It's really easy to mix the line of business and friends. You just have to
set those boundaries.
Yes.
Because obviously I'm happy to do your workbooks and like things like that. I mean, as you know, I bought some from you. But as an actual coach, yes, you would probably be really great for me. However, it's like that mixing those lines, because if we disagree on something, that's the networking group that we're setting up down the line.
Right.
That's our friendship completely gone. Because it might be something that we disagree on that makes it really difficult to come back from.
And I totally agree. I've had 3 people that's happened with. My first client, I admit, it got too close.
Yeah.
It got way too close. But it was my first client, so it was a learning experience. The second client it happened with, it was an accident that we got that close. It was just because she was relying so heavily on me for support that it ended up becoming that way. So I let her out of her contract because of it. So I was like, this is not going to work. We ended up disagreeing on everything because of it. And then the third was the coaching. I shouldn't have worked for my coach.
Yeah.
That's two different things. I appreciate the help, but it was 2 different things. And then on top of it, we became friends. So there's like 3 things conflicting with each other all at once.
In one go, and it doesn't help. So to wrap the show up, Sarah, your 5 top tips to overcome, because although we'll never eliminate self-sabotage because it's a human part of what we are, but your 5 top tips to try and overcome it so that people can carry on in their businesses.
1, of course, boundaries.
Yeah.
2, control your own behavior. Don't try to control somebody else's.
Okay.
3, when you do self-sabotage, explore why. Because it might be something you didn't realize you had to work on.
Absolutely.
4, kick procrastination in the ass before it starts. And 5, give yourself a break. You deserve it.
Absolutely. I love all of those tips. So guys, I'm going to end it here and thank Sarah for joining me today. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I always love it when you're on. We always have such randomly in-depth conversations. So guys, I will be back next week with another part of the Self-Sabotage mini-series. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to leave your comments underneath wherever you're finding this show, because we're on so many platforms now. Or you can find me on my Global Voice Facebook page. All links for myself and Sarah are in the show descriptions, so make sure you check them out. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Join Hannah Edwards and the roller coaster ride of business every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Global Voice Radio, where your voice is heard.